I'm Buzz from the Melvins. Thanks for watching my episode of Riff Lords. Today, I hope to show you a few things about how my weird mind works on playing guitar. It's fairly uncommon, so hopefully some of you will enjoy it. We'll get into some ideas that I have for playing guitar and how I play these Les Paul style guitars, tones I use, songs I play, riffs I play, why they're weird, how I write them, all that stuff. Hopefully we'll get to it. So the first song we're going to do is a song called Queen off our Stoner Witch record. It's a takeoff on a rockabilly riff, but it's very atonal. Starts with a kind of a basic rockabilly riff, and then I add the weirdness. Then it would go to the vocals right there, where I stop playing guitar completely, because I also sing in the band. Stop playing guitar completely. I do my vocals while the bass and the drums take over. And then that goes for a while. I sing the first part of the verse, and then I come in. But one thing you need to know about this is the Les Pauls are set up perfect for me to play, because I use this switch all the time in my playing. I have it set up to where I have a quiet volume, I have a medium volume, then I have a loud volume. And I use them all the time. I switch back and forth with them all the time. That's how you get the cutoff. Without that, I can't play a lot of these songs live. So it starts off with, I'll have the guitar off while I'm singing, and then when I come in, I quickly switch it on and start the riff. Then it goes to the chorus part right there, which is I'll play one riff and into the chorus. Back to singing. That's the whole thing right there. It's a basic part of the whole song. So, okay, so that was Queen at full speed. Now we're going to do Queen at half speed, at also half volume, so you have a little easier chance of seeing what it is I'm doing here, because Lord knows you wouldn't want to miss this. So anyway, so you start with a basic E, like an E chord, I think. And a normal E chord is like this, so I think this is an E minor. So you're just holding these two, and then what you're doing is you're playing the E string and the A string together. And then you're going. So you're going E, and then down to the 4th fret on the A string. You're still playing the E string. Then you add in the 3rd fret on the E string while you're holding down the 4th fret on the A string. So it's like. And then you go to the A, open A. So it's like. So it's a rockabilly riff, but I want it to be more atonal than that. So that's why you leave in the open chords, open notes that sound bad. That's what you want in there, which is you want that bad. And then the next bad. A is pretty open, it's pretty normal, but then so you want all those atonal things going on at once so it doesn't just sound like a normal riff. So a song does that, then it gets to the chorus part. I'm singing. Well, it's right before I do the chorus part, but it's you're going. There's a lot to remember there, but it's pretty basic, and you're doing normal chords on that, most of it. So when you get to that, more slowed down and is like. Now switch to. So I'm kind of doing a open, like a hammer-on with it. So you hear that. Now this is important. When you do this lead part, it's the third and second string. You want to bar across them, and then make it sound as much like a car accident as you can. Let all the bad notes ring out. So it's like. And then the next part is. It's basic chords, so it's like. Then back to open E. Queen at full speed and full volume. All right, this next song is a song off of our Nude with Boots record called Billy Fish. I wrote this song by screwing around on the fretboard with a lot of weird chords that aren't really chords. I'm not really sure what they are. It was very atonal, but I knew it would work. And especially when you fill it in with the rest of the band, it'll all smooth itself out. But I'm very much into not doing things that sound too pretty, because to me, too pretty is very corny. I don't want it. I don't want it to be corny. Okay. So this is Billy Fish. That's full volume. Here's half volume for Billy Fish, half speed. So Billy Fish explained, well, it starts on the 7th fret, so you have index finger on the 7th fret D string. It's in normal tuning. 7th fret D string and 9th fret G string. This is what it would sound like. These two. So that's the first thing you hear. And then it goes straight to move back 1 fret on the G string. So it's like. So it's like. And then the next part is. So the whole thing is. So you play, on that one you're playing the 6th the 7th fret on the D string and the 6th fret on the G string for. You can add a little bit of vibrato in there if you want. And the next part is the 5th string or 5th fret. You lay it across, your finger across the D and G, and then go back one on the G string. So it'd be. And then the next part is. The last note on that is fretting across the 7th fret, A and D string. The whole thing is. Next part, then you switch to a bar chord on the 5th fret, just a regular bar chord. Now I play bar chords just like these 3 strings. And then so you just do, and then move on the A string, move back 1 fret. So you want to make sure all that stuff comes out really good. So it's like, so it sounds really atonal, you know. So the same here. Now you're just doing it lower. So you're doing it lower. It's the same kind of riff as a higher one, but you're doing it lower. Now you back it off on the A string, you back off another fret, so you have this. So you're going. Back it off again, so it's weird. Then lay across. And then just doing, that's like a little hammer on. Across it, so it sounds as atonal as possible. Okay, I will play a Billy Fish at half speed, and then I will play it at full volume. Here we go. Full volume Billy Fish, full speed. Okay, this is a Melvins song called Honey Bucket off our Houdini album. We did that record a long time ago. I wrote this song really quickly. It's probably, I remember when I wrote it, I was in San Francisco in my bedroom, and I came up with it and had the whole thing done probably within about 15 minutes. All the riffs, thought about the lyrics, what I wanted to do, brought it to the band. Not long after that, it was recorded. So, and I didn't really think about it at the time, but it's a fairly popular, for a band like us, who doesn't have hit records, it was a fairly popular song with people. So I've never been able to figure out why. So, anyway, so the song, it's in drop D tuning, which is, I don't know exactly how that works, but what I do is, if you take a normal tuning in E, then what I do to get it to sound right is I just drop it down until it sounds correct. There it is. That's it. I find if I do it on the tuner, it sounds sharp. So if I do it by ear, it sounds better. I don't know why. Close enough. It makes the strings kind of wobbly, but I kind of like that sound. Once again, I'm going for a car wreck sound on most of the stuff I'm doing. So it's kind of a takeoff on a speed metal thing. So the intro is fairly fast. So I'll play it full volume first, and here it goes. Okay, now I'm going to play Honey Bucket at half volume, half speed, so you kind of get an idea of how it works. So the beginning is fairly simple. It's just on the first fret on a tuned down guitar, a tuned drop D guitar. So it's quick, you know. And on those, for some reason, I like doing upstrokes on the last note, and cutting it, you know, and then. So it's like. That's the main part, repeats, then goes into the next riff. So the next riff is, it starts with me, the whole band stops after we play the whole intro, and then I start playing just a chugging riff on the low E. At a slower volume, I mean slower pace. So we're going back to the first riff now at a half speed and half volume. And it just starts, like I said at the beginning, is just on the first fret. Then so it's just. Just alternating between the first fret and the third fret on the E string. Then it goes down to the third fret on the E string. Fourth. Then it does a weird thing where you go. Between the first and fourth fret, so it's like. next part after that would be. So you're playing the open E into the first fret, then 5th fret, 6th fret, then 5th fret on the A, or 6th fret on the A string, and 5th fret on the A string. So you got to make sure you get those honking car horn sounds in there. Second riff, you start on the E string chugging, then you go to the 7th fret on the E string, and you go from the 7th fret back to the 4th fret. So it's like, so 4th, and so you're going, so 7th, 4th, 7th, 5th, 6th. So it's like, then the 1st fret. So when I do my picking on this stuff, a lot of times I'll do double picking, or I'll do all upstrokes, or all downstrokes, depending on how hard I want to do it. Johnny Ramone did a lot of all downstrokes in his stuff. It sounds a little like, it gives you a little more of attack, you know. So when you're doing it full volume, that riff, full volume, full speed. Yeah, it's all downstrokes, all of that. So that I think it gives it a little more attack. It sounds a little crazier because maybe it's a little sloppier to do it the other way. So it doesn't really work. So you got to kind of palm mute it. But in the first riff, lots of upstrokes in there. The next part would be. So a lot of that is double picking. So, Honey Bucket at half speed, then I'll play it at full speed. Here it is at full volume, full speed. Hear that noise? Learn to enjoy it, every minute of it. It's all good. This is a full volume version of the bit, and starts out quiet. recorded the bit. It has a sitar intro, so I had to kind of figure out a way to play the sitar intro live. And so what I did is I turned the guitar really low. In the lowest setting on the Les Paul, I have it set so I can switch to the rhythm pickup in a low volume. So I automatically have that going. So then I also have the middle volume and the loud volume for when the song kicks in. So all right here without having to touch any pedals. So it's all on the guitar. I start the song by myself. And all you're doing is fretting on the 7th fret on the 4th string, and you're playing the third string and the 4th string together. And then you're bending the 4th one. So it's like. Turn it on, you let the guitar just flap wide open. And you turn it up loud. Okay, so I'll show you that when I do the loud part. Then you do it again, but now you're doing what I call the duck quacks, which is quack. Quack. Stop that halfway through. So you got the duck quacks at the beginning. Next riff is those two loud, then you go down to the E, so you go. So it's like you get those atonal notes in there, so you're still playing the same one, and you're going back to the 5th fret on the 4th string. So it's like. That's the main riff. Then when you get to the other part of it, it's you go into the song right before the vocals has this weird chord where you go to the 5th string at the 5th fret fretted and the 6th fret on the 4th string together. You get that, and you're playing the open E at the same time. So you're going back and forth between those. Right before it comes in, right before you get to the pedaling part, you go. 6th fret on the E string and then open pedal. So the whole thing like that would be. It's kind of a weird, odd tuning, which in our band we call a hiccup. There's a little hiccup right at the end. So it's like you got duck quacks and you got hiccups in this song. So it's like. I don't know how to explain it, but that's what it is. Full volume would be same thing, except I would kick on an echo at the beginning. Then when it goes loud, now I'm ready to switch on the guitar to full volume as I pull off of the string to give it the car wreck sound. So it's like. played a half volume slow. Hiccups and duck quacks and anything like that that you can insert into your pseudo heavy metal song is always good. There's so much of that other stuff out there. There are enough people out there playing it perfect and straight out of Guitar Player magazine that people shouldn't expect me to do it. Okay, this next song is called Evil New War God. One of my favorite songs, certainly to play live. We've played it live, I think, every show since we put it out. It is in a strange tuning that I don't know what it is. It could have a name, but the way I found it was screwing around with the guitar, looking for alternate tunings that I could use probably 30 plus years ago. What I did was I took the A string and I dropped it down to somehow correspond with the D string, and what I did is I just lowered it until it sounded right. Then you can play a chord on that. And then I thought, well, what happens if I lower the E string down to where that corresponds with that as well? So it's like. And what it is C and G. That's what it turns out. Low C, low G, and then the rest of the guitar is in normal. So what you get this really weird. But your whole guitar doesn't have to be tuned down. Just the two lowest strings. That's it. So you get it's really cool low sounding tuning with all the rest of your strings are in normal tuning. So it's kind of easier to play if you're going to play higher stuff. Your guitar doesn't feel like there's nothing on it, because that's usually what happens if you try to detune the whole guitar. Then it becomes a lot more difficult to stay in tune, or semi in tune, or as we like to call it, remotely in tune. That's what which is the Melvins tuning is remotely in tune. Close enough, right? So this song has that tuning in mind. I've written tons and tons of songs with that tuning. I've had people ask me about it, and they've tried to put the guitar into that tuning. It just doesn't work. Until you do that trick, which is C, G, tuned down, now you have the ability to play all the way across it, which is a cool chord, or you can play the A and the D string, or just the E and the A string. You have really cool stuff that way. So that's the tuning. Okay, so this song has a really cool drum intro that it was from but inspired by one of our favorites, which is Miles Davis Electric Stuff. Their drummers were amazing, and we have used that as an inspiration, trying to insert that into heavy metal stuff for a long time, or our version of heavy metal, which we call Captain Beefheart playing heavy metal. So this song starts on the A string, so I'll play it first. slowed down. Okay, so this song, Evenly War God, you want to let the atonal notes cut through. You really want that to happen. You don't want to be too clean. It's enough clean out there. You want it to be dirty, dirty, dirty. We're really inspired by a group from the 70s called Throbbing Gristle. We want to add that into what we're doing, definitely. I personally think that that kind of thing is good, so I've intentionally tried to add in as much of that sort of nonsense as I could, along with cool riffs, which I didn't really think was happening. So this one starts, it's in the weird tuning, the CG tuning, 5th fret, 4th string, across. So it's like, then go down to 8th fret, and then 7th fret. So you're going back to the E on that though. So you're like going, so you're like da da going. Add that, you're jumping back and forth between that as much as you can. That's what you want to do. So it's like. That's the intro. Doesn't go back to that. That's the only time you do that. So I think, yeah, it's the only time you do that. Then the main riff is, imagine Captain Beefheart playing ZZ Top. That's the best way to describe a riff like this to me anyway. It's like, you go to the E string. So you're doing a hammer to the 3rd fret on the A string. So it's like, then 3rd fret E string, 4th or 5th fret E string. So it's like to the A string first. And then slide. So then down to the 5th fret, A string. Then do hammer-ons from the 5th fret. You're hammering from the A on the A string to the 5th fret. Open to the 5th fret. So it's like. That's the main riff there. And then the next riff you'd go into is, so you're muffling it kind of, and you're playing it on the E string with the A string kind of thrown in there a little bit, the 3rd fret and 5th fret. All downstrokes. And down to the 6th fret. is 3rd fret A, 5th fret A, 1st fret A, open, 6th fret A. So it's like. I will play it full volume now all the way through. Here's the song in slow down. So this next song's called Amazon. I'm only playing the third part. It's off our Maggot album, and it's in CG tuning, and here it goes. Okay, this is Amazon at a slower speed. So what you're doing, you're in CG tuning, you're playing the E string, you're playing the A string, and you're fretting the 5th fret on the A string. So you're getting this. So it's like. Okay, we'll break it down. When I wrote this song, I knew what I wanted to do was write something that was very bombastic with big, huge drums in it. So it sounds like basically like a construction site, maybe with a lot of noise and pounding and hammering, and not unlike buildings being built or buildings being destroyed, or it's just a big thing. So just not a lot of flourish, but I wanted a long repeating riff that would be semi-confusing, but and still have a sound that was like if your transmission drops out of your car and is dragging along the road. That's what we're looking for. Heavy metal a lot of times doesn't have enough just filthy dirt out of tune, which I think it needs. I don't like it too clean. And so with a song like this, I'm trying to make it sound as dirty and filthy as possible, as much as I can. So I have this atonal note chord to start with. A lot of times I'll add in a delay like that, but we won't do that for now, so because it kind of muddies it up even more. And then I'll turn on a compressor, my compressor as well, full blast, which I think is a highly underrated effect for guitar, and I'll have that on here because that pushes everything to the limit, as noisy as you can make it. So you're starting with that riff. So you're just playing those two notes. Sometimes the third string will add in. You get an odd, crazy note out of that too, which I think is good. I also really liked bands from the late 80s, and I thought that they added lots of things like that in there. Although they weren't a heavy metal band, I certainly wanted to incorporate that kind of thing into what I was doing. I think a lot of this comes from that idea. How would you put that into heavy metal? So that goes on for a while. And the drums, you cue off the drums, he's playing this crazy beat that's along there, and as hard as he's going to hit probably that during the whole show. This song should be as pounding as possible, and that was what we were going for. So the riff, the long repeating riff, starts on the E string, and it's a 3rd fret. So you do a bend like that. So it's like. You go back to the E string every time, so it's like. After every note, so down to the A string, 5th fret. You know, so it's like. 5th fret, E string, then down to the 8th fret, A string, then 2 frets higher, 3rd fret on the A string, and then back to the 5th fret. And do a big explosion with your hand where you pull off as hard as you can and let it go. Like that, so it's like. You see how that repeats like that. Then it goes back to the beginning intro part where the vocals go, you know. Goes in and it just does that again and again. 3 vocal parts, 3 parts like that. There's no chorus. And the song ends where you're just doing that pull off. And the bend. And the drummer is just going, you have the drummer is just going as off as he can on that part, hammering it as much as possible until he does something to cue you that that's the end of the song. So a song like that can go, the beginning can go as long as the drummer wants it to, and the ending can go as long as the drummer wants it to. Sometimes, if the audience is particularly rowdy or particularly bored, that can go for a very long time. So, so you just, as a musician, you got to make sure that you're reading what the other guys are doing and paying attention to what's going on. And a song like that doesn't really have parameters that would be exactly how it should be or exactly how it should sound. A lot of times with our songs, we consider the arrangements nothing more than just suggestions of how they could sound. Okay, here is Amazon at half volume, about the same speed, but it's half volume. So you get it, you get the idea there. Okay, so now Here's the Amazon at full volume with effects, which are delay and compressor. Okay, thanks for watching my episode of Riff Lords. Hopefully you learned something. I'm not a normal kind of guitar player. If you're looking for that kind of thing, I'm not your guy, but maybe you could incorporate some of the stuff that we're doing into your own playing. But one thing's for sure, my playing is centered around songwriting. So I'm thinking of how all of my riffs and all that stuff is gonna work within the song itself, and I think that's really important. If you're not doing that as a songwriter or as a guitar player, I think you're just wasting your time. So thank you so much. Hopefully this worked and it was good for you. And I appreciate being here, and thanks to everybody here.